We're here at the Calypso booth and talk with Gabriel from Haemimont Games, the CEO, and there's a new Tropico 5 coming. What is Tropico 5? What changed? What it's all about?
The idea for Tropico 5 is to make bigger, better and more fun Tropico in every single way. So we've changed all of the old mechanics, we reimagined them and also added a lot of cool new stuff.
What kind of mechanics do you change?
We have streamlined the way you manage your economy, the way you control your buildings. We've added a lot more options, but at the same time we made it easier to actually control your economy.
Yeah, I heard now that you got the timeline with a longer lifespan, so there are more events taking place in the game.
Yes, this is one of the big changes. Right now, Tropico takes from the colonial times to the modern era. So you start as a colonial governor, and then you progress to being a president of an independent nation, and then you go through the world wars, to the Cold War, and into the modern era. So this is a very long time span. There is a lot of different things happening in each of these eras. Every single era is a little bit different. So initially you have this something like a deadline to how long you can serve as a governor, your mandate, and you can discuss with the crown and do favors to them, so in order to increase your mandate. And also they required you to do a lot of different stuff, which are good for them and not so good for you. So the end result is that you declare independence at some point when you gather enough supporters from your people.
Okay, for me Tropico was everything was about I'm a communist or I'm a capitalist, but this is still part of the game.
Well, this part is also greatly expanded because right now we have this constitution that you write and you can change every time you change the era and also sometimes in between, so that you can define different aspects of your government, like whether it's a democratic one, there will be voting, or you can make a dictatorship and there will be no voting whatsoever. So you can really choose the way that you structure your country. You can decide who is going to vote. You can decide what's the role of the religion in your society, whether it's a completely secular state or whether it's atheist state or a very religious one. So all of these choices you make in the one big constitution document that you basically declare what the island that I'm building, what is it exactly, and then we can even tell you at the end which real world countries most closely resemble your choices that you have selected.
So you got the political stuff with the constitution. There was the diplomacy. Difficult word. Diplomacy, and I heard there's also researching in the game. It sounds a bit like you got a bit more in the direction of civilization.
Well, we just added a lot of new mechanics, and in order to not overwhelm the player, we simplified a lot of the other stuff. So there's a ton of new things, like research really. But then again, the research is, you don't imagine you're researching something great. This is Tropico. You're researching the shovel, or you're researching how to use the muskets that the crown is sending you because you don't really know how to use them. So this is like, everything is very humorous and very light in the entire game. As you progress through the eras, a lot of things change. Your factions change. Initially you start with royalists and separatists, and when you declare independence they change, and also the foreign powers that you deal with. Initially it's only the crown, then it's the Axis and the Allies during the World Wars, and then there is the US and USSR, and afterwards the European Union and the Chinese also join them. So there is a lot of changes are going on as you progress to play an entire game.
Okay, this sounds very cool. And are there other new features in the game?
Well, there is a ton of new stuff. One of them is the trade. There is a completely different way to create your empire. You can go only by trading stuff. You can. There's different trade offers provided by the different countries around the world. You have your own trade fleet, and you can assign different ships to different trade routes. And this manage what resources you're buying and selling and from home. And also there is the biggest new feature is the multiplayer. So you can play with or against your friends, up to 4 people on the same island. Everybody has his own town and his own country that they're building. And you can interact with them either directly by sending them money, sharing your electricity or sharing a workforce with them, or indirectly because this is the same island, so every natural resource that is present, only one player can go there and tap that one. And also, in addition to this, you can have there's these agenda tasks that pop up, and there's always several of them active at the same time. And whoever first completes the agenda task gets an agenda point, and that's it. So there might be 3 tasks active at the same time. You get to 100 population, just have $10,000 or build a power plant. So whoever first completes one of these tasks gets a point. So you look at the other player's town and decide that he probably will get faster to the 100 people population mark, but you will be better, if you take a lot of money, collect them, and then build a power plant so that you can beat them on the other 2 tasks. And this is something, once you finish one, there's a new one coming. So there's kind of this old competitions that are happening all the time while you're playing. And there's a victory mode saying that whoever completes, gets 20 points, he wins the game.
Okay. And as a final question, maybe I think a lot of people want to know, but there is still a sandbox mode, even with all the events taking place while playing the game.
Yes, there is definitely the sandbox mode, and one of the things that we're doing now is that we're moving a lot of the complexity and a lot of the events that you saw in the campaign, we're moving this to the sandbox mode. There's literally hundreds of events that can happen while you're playing in sandbox mode, and they're separated in different chains. So if something happens and you react in a certain way, then different things follow, and then different things follow, and so on. So the idea is that every single sandbox game will be really different from the previous one, and there will be a lot of content that you can experience only after playing literally hundreds of different games.
And when is Tropico 5 coming out, and for which platforms?
For now, it's announced in April next year, and it's coming for PC, Mac, Linux, and Xbox 360.
Cool, thank you.